If you've been around my channel long enough, you've heard me talk about Babylon 5 plenty of times. It's one of my favorite stories in the science fiction space of all time, and I have a huge amount of respect for J. Michael Straczynski and everything he does. I not only loved Babylon 5, but the shows that came after. I also loved Jeremiah, which unfortunately, got canceled midway through, and just, over the years, watching him get up and involved in Sense 8 with the Wachowskis. And then I follow along with his Patreon page. And I think it's got to be about 2 years back, maybe now, he made an announcement that he had been in talks with the CW to create a reboot of Babylon 5, and not a redo per se, but a complete reboot. I mean, there's a little confusion between the two for some people, but essentially coming back in and being the showrunner on a new version of Babylon 5 that would be different and separate from what he had done before. He made some announcements, was going to have some of the cast of the original series come back and have some sort of, cameo appearances and so on and so forth. But the show was going to be about a completely different Sheridan character who was younger and so on and so forth. But it was still going to be set on the space station and was going to do different things with a different storyline. That sounded amazing. A lot of us got super excited. And he wrote the pilot. The pilot got accepted. There was a series order, as I remember. And then the CW sold. And all of the management that was there working with J. Michael Straczynski on the Babylon 5 reboot sort of went away. However, promises were supposedly made by leadership and contracts were signed and things of that nature. So then it was, well, it won't be happening this year. It's going to happen next year because we need time for all of these sales to go through between, Warner Brothers and the CW and MGM and Amazon and all these kerfuffles that have happened in the Hollywood space over the last essentially year to 2 years. Once the dust for all that settles, we will then know what's going to be happening with this Babylon 5 reboot. And of course, it has now been I think it's been 6 months since we've heard anything minimum. I don't keep up to date with it completely, but I feel like sometime middle of last year there was an update and it was just him saying, "Hey guys, as far as I know, it's still going on. The sales have now started to be finalized, and we're starting to look at when this might come back around." So he gave an update yesterday. I'm recording this on the 8th of February. So on the 7th of February, he made an update over on his Patreon page for Babylon 5. It said, "There's been a lot of talk and chatter about how the Babylon 5 reimagining must be dead because there's been no new news for a while, taking silence as it's dead and then repeating that information to anyone online within range. The only problem with that is that it ain't so. Not in any sense that matters, anyway. Here's to the heart meat core of it." And then it's a great explanation here of how no news sometimes is still the same as news. But basically, it says every year networks and streamers develop tons of pilot scripts, and a smaller parcel of produced pilots, only a small fraction of which happen across the finish line into being ordered as a series. For those that don't get ordered, here's what happens. The network or streamer calls the writer producer or that person's agent and tells them. I've gotten that call plenty of times over the years. That call has not come. Networks and streamers don't just make a decision not to pick something up and then not tell anyone. I've been in the television business for longer than there have been clouds, and I've never seen that happen. I've never even heard of it happening. If they pick up the project, they call. If they don't pick up the project, they call. They are not shy about making that call. It gets done every day, every week, every month, every year. It's very simple. As I spit all over myself, I don't know where that came from. "Joe, listen, we love the script, but we couldn't make the deal. Money schedule work, so we're gonna have to take a pass. Please be sure to bring us something else next development cycle. Click, disconnect, move on. Easy peasy, no harm, no foul. Nature of the biz." And he says my very next act within that minute would then be to post that information to everyone reading this page, because that's part of the process as well. But again, that call has not come. Not to me, not to my agent or my attorney, not to nobody. Does this mean BS5 isn't going to happen? No. Does it mean it's going to happen? No. All it means is that there are still discussions happening that are way above my pay grade and that there's an agenda or purpose that I'm not privy to. Could the no-go call come tomorrow? Sure, and that would be ridiculously sad. Could the pickup call come sometime tomorrow? Sure, and that would be ridiculously great. But until then, Babylon 5 is Schrodinger's TV show, neither alive nor dead, until somebody somewhere opens the box, looks inside to tell the tale, and calls me or my agent to say that they saw. what they saw. Silence out here means there's a conversation happening in there, and for my money, that's a good thing. A good thing. Meanwhile, we wait. More as I know it. You have my word. J. Michael Straczynski. So this is a case of, no news can be news if you're someone who, like him, has been in the television industry. I can't talk this morning for a very long time. Um, there is that saying if no news is good news. It's kind of that case here, where it doesn't really mean anything one way or the other. It's literally he's been in the business long enough, and this is a tricky thing to do for a lot of people. Um, Learning how to submit something and then forget about it. And that is the life. If you've ever freelanced, I've been freelancing for 20 plus years now. If you've ever done any freelance or any pitching whatsoever, um, then your entire life revolves around submit and wait. Um, it could take weeks, it could take months. I've had book submissions and pitches for work and job applications for projects over the years take up to a year. And someone would finally get back to me and be like, "Oh, sorry about this. It got filtered into the junk folder. Yeah, we don't have any need for that at this time," or whatever the case may be. But it's pitch and wait, pitch, wait, pitch, wait, pitch, wait. When I was younger and first getting going as a freelancer, that stressed me out a lot. Because it was like, I need to get paid. I need to make money. How am I going to make money if I'm waiting 8 months? Or 12 months or 6 months, whatever the case might be, to even hear back from people. And then we might get on the project and then I get paid upon completion. So then there's that time. And is there a kill fee? And I need to be charging a deposit and maybe a retainer and all these other things. It takes time to build up when you're first getting going freelancing. And it takes time to get beyond that barrier because there is a barrier of entry. And that barrier of entry is the pitch and wait syndrome. Because when you first get going, you have no choice but to suffer that wait and deal with it. Now, as you get deeper into your freelance career or whatever career you're pursuing traditionally that revolves this pitching process, um, you get to the point where you have enough projects being pitched and enough of them coming back that you don't really have to stress about the income coming in. And if you can get to that point and put it out of your mind, then you can put the pitching process it's a thing that just it's over here. It's its own separate thing. It doesn't affect your day to day. You get an idea, you pitch it, you go away. You forget about it. You literally just forget about it. It's like an actor going through the casting process, right? They're going to go through, they're going to go in front of somebody. There's going to be 5,000 other applicants, and maybe, hopefully, they're going to get selected at the end of the day. And that's what it is here. So actors learn to just put it out of their minds. You go on 500 auditions in a year, you land 5 of those jobs, you land 10 of those jobs. That's it. You forget about the other 450 or whatever it is. So it makes sense from where he's coming. I don't really care how long it takes. I'm gonna watch it. I'm very interested in it. I've seen people who are like, "Oh, it's just gonna be another woke show." I don't think you know who J. Michael Straczynski is, or the power of his writing talent, or the characters that he's created. If you think that you can make the accusation that J. Michael Straczynski is gonna create a woke show, and that's your only recourse is to say, "Oh, it's gonna be woke because everything's woke these days," and ooh, it's meh. Sorry, your loss. More for me. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna enjoy it. I've liked all his other stuff, so I have no reason not to like what this is gonna be. So that's the news as I see it. I report it. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Jump on those memberships and super chats and super chips options below to support the channel. Don't forget the Patreon page. There's a Discord. All that stuff's down there. Till next time, everybody. Stay safe. Happy gaming. Happy reading. Happy everything. Cheers.